You are listening to the SanityDrive Podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome again to the very last episode of SanityDrive Podcast for the year 2025. I'm sure every one of us is happy to be here, and thank you for always joining us to get more insights about how the brain works and brain health. We are grateful for an amazingly wonderful 2025, and we're looking ahead for another excellent 2026 that we believe God is going to grant to us. Thank you again, everyone. So in the spirit of this celebration, we are continuing, and we really want to look at one special dot in this season, and that is gratitude. We often hear that gratitude can change perspective, but let's take it a bit further. More like, how about we look at the science of how it could contribute to the way our brain works. I'm joined by someone that is very special, and we are lucky to have her on the call today, and that is Dr. Ehireme Kpakpawo-Okete. I already pleaded with her. I hope I don't knife her name, so I'm sure doctor will permit me. Ehireme Dr. Ehireme Kpakpawo-Okete is a senior registered neuropsychiatrist at the Ehireme Specialist Teaching Hospital at Edo State, and she specializes in mental health as well as behavioral medicine. Thank you again, Dr. Okete, for joining me on this call, even within the very short notice I gave to you. Thank you. So I'll go right into the questions. I want us to start by talking about the gratitude itself. What does it really mean in psychological terms, or maybe some sort of physiology? Is it just about saying thank you, or is there something more deeper, relating it to the science behind it? Dr. Okete, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Looking at gratitude from a psychological point of view, I would say that gratitude is not just the word thank you. It's not just saying thank you. It's more like a deep form of emotional expression for it's expressive an expression to appreciate something good that one has actually, of something of value to someone. So it's whether big or small, gratitude goes beyond just saying thank you. So the in-depth emotional response behind that is what the psychological point of view tends to look at, and then how it affects the brain function. Because you see, when one begins to express some form of gratitude, he or she activates certain centers in the brain, and these centers are the neural pathways that go up further to be able to bring more sense of further gratitude. What am I saying? I'm saying this in the sense that it brings a form of activation of those neurochemicals or transmitters within the brain that encourages one to have that feeling of gratitude, and then wanting to express more grace, like a positive feedback for the individual. So in such a way, it brings about further contentment and a positive outlook. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Okete. That was brilliant. So knowing fully well that if I just start with as little as I can, being grateful, it will kind of reinforce it, and I have more of this positive feedback. Thank you for that. And that leads me to the next question, which is around how this could affect our brain health. And as I mentioned when I was talking about the introduction, we've heard that, well, it could change our perspective about life when you are grateful. I think I even read of research or heard of a research sometime when they talked about people who are grateful tend to be more truthful. Well, I'm still trying to explore what science lies behind that. But I want you to, since we're talking about the brain health now, I want you to explain how positivity and gratefulness, because you mentioned something around that, how they could influence our brain health and even our overall well-being. Go ahead, Doctor.
Okay. I will always say that you are what you do regularly. Whatever you do daily, it becomes a part of you. So what gratitude does is that it has a way of restructuring the cognitive structure of the individual, as well as impacting on the behavioral or emotional components of that individual. Okay, so what gratitude does is that it rewires the brain to be able to understand the importance of that concept, gratitude. And so the brain, in response to gratitude, brings forth a feel-good hormone after activation of the neural pathways. And what are these hormones that are responsive to this concept of gratitude? You have the dopamine, you have the serotonin, and then you have oxytocin. And we all know that dopamine is one of the hormones that helps in pleasure and motivation. And so once one is expressing pleasure, you know what pleasure does to an individual. You want to seek more pleasure. The same goes for serotonin. Serotonin brings forth a balance in the mood. So one is happy, he expresses happiness, Furthermore, you want to express more happiness because those hormones are already activated within the circles brain circle. Oxytocin is a third hormone, which I talked about, is a kind of expressive hormone that brings about love and connectivity. That's a form of social gratitude. So all these chemicals within the brain tends to activate the neural pathways and seek for further gratitude. And by so doing, it tilts the individual into pleasure seeking as against running away from pressures. I'm sure you know every individual wants to run away from pressures. So that's what it does. And by so doing, it improves the overall well-being. It improves the physical and mental health of the individual. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Okete. How about we look at the practical sense of it? You're a neuropsychiatrist, and I just want to tap from this wealth of knowledge of yours and be able to sift through some of them. Maybe some of our audience will be able to get some things. Looking towards the practical thing, we might have some people on the call who feel overwhelmed. Looking at the year 2025, maybe all through life didn't really throw much of positive things to them, and someone might feel stressed. The prayer is there, like you said, people are moving away from prayer, though it's evasive, but sometimes they're right there staring in the face. What are some simple gratitude practices that you would like to give us? I know this is not any form of diagnosis or medical treatment, but just from your own wealth of experience that you might be able to give to people from a sieved wealth of knowledge that you have, that they can start today and may be able to improve their brain health going forward and charging them towards positivity even as you're marching onto a new year. Go ahead, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doctor. So looking at gratitude again, it looks small, but it's something much more deeper than the ordinary eyes can see. Okay, so looking at the practical point of view, I like I said in my first line when you asked me the previous question, I said something we do every day becomes a total part of our daily activity. Okay, so someone may have dealings with individuals along the line, maybe through the year 2025, may or may not be satisfied with that dealing that he or she would have had. So, however, the ability to be able to look into those list of items that one has enlisted and then pick out the certain things that would have been the positives, let's put it that one, and express gratitude for those positives. It tends to improve one's health and then take away any form of stress. Because you know that when these hormones are released, the happy hormones are released from these various sites that they are really produced, they have a way of also expressing joy or happiness or a feel-good environment for the individual. And that reduces tension the best it can. Tension is being expressed in terms of stress, in terms of fear, in terms of anxiety. So those are practical ways that you see you're trying to give a balance. So looking at your past, looking at things that has been done over time, you're able to say, okay, I give myself a 2/5, I give myself a 5/5, over time. And then journaling is something, putting down things that one has been able to achieve over the years or over the months, and able to express gratitude for these little things I've been able to achieve. There are other forms of practical ways of expressing gratitude, putting down things, pen to paper. Mindfulness is a way of relaxation. One has to go maybe before bedtime or at any point in time, trying to bring back to memory and meditate upon those events, memories, joyful memories, events, experiences that one would have had. And then by so doing, practically you are expressing gratitude either to yourself. You can be grateful to yourself too for certain steps that you take in life, right? And then also expressing gratitude to individuals, expressing gratitude even to the supreme being in heaven. So it helps an individual to be able to practicalize on these things from time to time, and then it helps one to live, emotionally regulate his or herself, and then live an overall total health for the wellness or health for that individual. Thank you so much.
Again, that was spot on. I don't know if Dr. Okete will be willing to drop some of our maybe social media handles or anything. If you, and this is bigger than this, if you want to consult with her, if you would like to talk further with her, if she's open to it, we can drop her social media platform where you can follow her and ask some more questions. And she's very passionate about the work she does. That takes me to the next question, Dr. Okete. You said something around being positive and this looking within yourself and even being grateful for yourself. This, and even sometimes to our supreme brain, our God, this positivity could then trigger us to look forward to maybe a more positive reality. But sometimes I see or I perceive that there are times we confuse positivity with some things that are somewhat not realistic, and that is what is serve as the basis for this next question. Positivity often gets dismissed as some toxic optimism sometimes. And the spirit of gratefulness, and you're trying to be like, okay, I can do this, I am this. How do we distinguish between being genuinely positive, which will support our well-being, just as you've mentioned, and a forced positivity that may actually harm us? For example, when we are living in another world, or in maybe some sort of infatuation, how do we distinguish between these two and not end up harming ourselves by just saying, I want to stay positive? And I don't know if you got my question.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Thank you very much. Okay, so there is what's the concept of genuine positivity and the concept of forced positivity. All right. So looking at the aspect of genuine positivity, it goes about touching reality and accepting reality. It goes about touching reality, acknowledging that there are difficulties, and it helps someone to be able to validate your feelings. You're free to express your pains, you're free to express your feelings, you are free to express sadness or pain wherever it comes. And then it has a way of building resilience. It makes one stronger. One goes through a particular challenge, he accepts that these challenges are real. All right. It doesn't have a room to deny those challenges. He expresses them, thus validating his feelings, and then gives room for a dialogue or a change if there is need for that kind of change. That's genuine positivity. It's healthy. It's optimistic. Now, going further to look at the forced positivity. Forced positivity, it's denial. You know it's there, but you don't really accept the fact that it's there. Oh, it's not that bad, but it's actually bad. So when you begin to modify it, it seems like it's denying the reality or the realistic aspect of it. One is not expected to express his emotions out of guilt, out of shame, out of regrets. That's what forced positivity does. It's quite toxic, and it works in so much isolation. You don't want to, avoid. You don't want to struggle. You don't want to, see yourself connecting with people. You're isolating yourself from mixing up with people. You can no longer build trust. It's quite toxic. So that's about the difference between both of them. One is realistic, the other is not realistic. One accepts the principles around it, expresses his feelings. The other does not express the feelings. It's kind of masks his or her feelings, and it is in denial. It's in denial. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. I hope we all be able to get to distinguish between the two and be able to set a clear line between those two, so we don't get to into this toxic path of optimism and saying, okay, I'm very optimistic about this, and sometimes we get to hurt ourselves or even hurt others, but walk in the reality while also staying very positive about it. Thank you again, Dr. Okete, for this. And I wanted to go to another question, but I want to keep this as short as possible. So I will give you time to give us your take-home message for everyone that is listening to us today, that may be listening to us at any point in time. What do you think they should take home as a charge for the new year?
Right. It's important that we go with the concept of gratitude into the new year, modeling it into our daily activities, and knowing fully well that it promotes resilience and help us to live a satisfied life, or a life full of satisfaction. That will further go ahead towards give us an enhanced total physical well-being. So my take home is that we should keep that concept going while we go into the new year. Gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Okete. Many thanks to you again for creating time to join me on this conversation.
My pleasure.
It's a celebration time. Everyone is trying to chop and get the kitchen ready and the like. So you still spared time out to join me in discussing this very important topic and charging us for a brighter 2026. And we look forward to, as I mentioned earlier, an amazing and excellent year. And we are hopeful and positive about it. And so we're moving with that energy. As Dr. Okete mentioned, write it down, journal it, practice it, walk in that reality, take a pause sometimes to reflect. Some of those small steps are capable of making some big difference in our life and even to our brain health, coming off all some sort of stress that the world or the earth, life might be pushing to us. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in to SanityDrive Podcast. Thank you for joining us on this very last episode of the year 2025. And don't forget to just about this to everyone. Talk to people, be grateful yourself, push this narrative, and don't let it just end on this podcast. Remember to like or comment And I'll get the permission of Dr. Okete to see if she will be open to dropping her social media platform on the description of the video. So if it is there, then if you have further questions and you want to know more about the staying positive and keeping your positive drive alive, you can message or reach out to her if she's able to offer any form of consultation. But she is a professional and you should expect what comes with a professional. So until next time, everyone, thank you again. Stay grateful, stay positive, and keep driving towards a great well-being and a safe world. Thank you, and bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
You are listening to the SanityDrive Podcast.